Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about World Eaters. So let's jump in and let's get talking. Now before we get into the nitty gritty, I think it's best if we look at this little clip from Jess Goodwin. It's taken from Voxcast, episode 7. It's when Jess was talking about Shadowspear and stuff like that, and the subject of the World Eaters got brought up.
Favourite Space Marine chapter, Jess Goodwin?
My favourite Space Marine chapter? Oh, don't know.
Okay. My follow-up question, I reckon, is going to be answered in the same way. Favourite Traitor Legion or Renegade chapter?
The spikiest ones.
The spikiest ones?
Well, yeah, because the thing is, that I've got to go through and try and remember them all on those ones. It's like, I don't know. Quite like World Eaters, though.
Good man. Yeah, we'll take that. I have to take your first answer.
Yeah, we ought to do some new miniatures for those at some point.
That would be a fine idea. All right, and well, on that bombshell, we'll have to join on to this podcast recording. Thank you very much again, Jez. Hopefully again see you soon.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Pleasure. Cheers.
So as you saw there, that was some little banter about the World Eaters, saying we should do some models about them, and there's some laughing and stuff like that. Of course, nothing is confirmed. It just could have been, just some banter between friends and stuff like that, because I know Wade is a really big World Eater fan as well. So maybe it's just them two having a laugh. But on the opposite side, you can say that maybe something is definitely coming for the boys in red. Another interesting fact that I learned from that podcast is the way that GW operate. Now, I know they work in advance, but I didn't know how long they worked in advance when it comes to models. We learned that the Phobos pattern of Space Marines that you see in the Shadowspear box set went into design around 5 years ago. So that is a big chunk of time. Now, you can make the argument, all these rumors that we've been hearing about Fulgrim, Slanesh, Noise Marines, World Eaters, Angron, Gazskull Primarch, all these rumors which are flowing out, Primaris jet bikes, maybe they are in play in some kind of way, but actually in the design process at the moment, and within the next 2 to 3 years we'll start seeing these hitting the shelves when it comes to GW. Now back to Khorne itself. Now I'm actually very, very tempted to do a Khorne type of force. A lot of people always ask me, Valrak, what's your favourite Traitor Legion? And I've always said the World Eaters. The World Eaters is what really piqued my interest. That is kind of some of the inspiration around my Executioner force, because they are really the closest Imperial 5th successor chapter to the World Eaters. Their brutality of taking people's heads, cutting them all off and stuff like that. That is really one of my main choices for going down that route and not being a full-blown heretic. Now, when it comes to the releases which we've just had for Khorne, this kind of points to a certain direction as well, because we've had the Bloodmaster, the Herald of Khorne, the Bloodletters, those Bloodhound things have just released as well. We've even had that new terrain piece, which is confirmed you can use it in 40k as well. Now, when it comes to these Bloodletters, not the Bloodletters, the new the Bloodmaster, and I think the Herald of Khorne, or what's it called, the Skull Taker or something like that. We do know that the rules of these guys are going to be in Vigilus, so Khorne is going to be mixed up in Vigilus in some kind of way. Of course, with Abaddon unleashing chaos and stuff, I'm sure you're going to have Slanesh, Nurgle, Zinch, and Khorne there in some kind of format. And with the format we know for Khorne is that these guys will be taking a place up on the planet and doing some kind of corny stuff on the planet. Now, what does this mean for the World Eaters in general? I definitely do think they will be getting a release. Probably not this year, because I think this year is mostly Black Legion. Maybe they don't want to take the shine from it. As much as I would love these guys to get something, I just don't see it coming this year. I just think Vigilus is the main focus at the moment, and the way that GW are doing their releases at the moment, I think they've changed business strategy in some type of way, where they're releasing the big releases, the big characters, all that kind of stuff when it comes to campaigns in 40k. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, Vigilus is a campaign, and with Vigilus we've had a lot of big models. We've had Primaris Calgar, we've had all the Black Legion stuff, we've had the Shadowspear stuff, we've got to get Abaddon around Calgar as well. I'm sure there's going to be Terminators which are rumoured, the new Sorcerer which is rumoured. All these big releases are happening around a campaign, and a campaign's worth of books as well. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. With the return of Angron, which I do think is definitely going to happen at some point, and I think it will be coming down with the World Eaters as well. Like, when the World Eaters get new models, I think Angron's going to be involved, much like Abaddon was involved with the Black Legion. But when it comes to his release, I do think they're going to push it and do a campaign with his release as well. Now, what campaign could it be? I've always said Armageddon would be a fantastic campaign. There's something about Armageddon with Angron, which makes a lot of sense. Angron was first banished on Armageddon, and I personally think the only way back into real space, let's say for Angron, is to be resummoned on the planet that he was banished on. When the Great Rift happened, the lore states that there was a ritual to try and bring Angron back on Armageddon when all the chaos, all the mess was going on, nobody knew what was going down, only for the salamanders to intervene and stop the ritual and stop Angron returning into real space. So for me, that really adds petrol to the fire when it comes to the speculation of bringing Angron back into real space with his summoning back on Armageddon. And I think it would actually make a really good story, because the possibility what they could do around that is a lot of things. They could bring the orcs back into it. They can have Gazskul return. Maybe have that old rumor of Gazskul and Angron punching each other in the face over the dominance of Armageddon. The Imperium's just being completely erased from it. Maybe we can have new Imperial Guard models released around the Armageddon campaign stuff. Steel Legion getting some love again. That means a brand new regiment. Well, not a brand new regiment, but a refreshed regiment hitting GW from a much loved Imperial Guard regiment, which a lot of people pissed off about when they got taken off the GW website. There is something else that makes me think that Armageddon will be getting something like a campaign, something like that around the summertime of this year. Again, you can take this as however you want it. Maybe it's just a GW having a joke around. But in a White Dwarf magazine, there was like kind of a back and forth like article section where someone was writing on behalf of Gazskul, like Gazskul's like answering fan mail and stuff like that. And one of the questions was something like, are you going to be returned to Armageddon? And I think he said something like, yeah, I'm going to be returning there in the summertime. Again, that is just, could be completely blowing it out of the water, could be laughs, could be just banter at all. But, if something does happen in the summertime, then that was basically like a little teaser hint that Gazskul is going to return to Armageddon. And if he does return to Armageddon, by the way, Gazskul is like the leader of probably the biggest force in the galaxy at the moment, I think, or is it the biggest fleet? It's something like that. He's got a massive force behind him, and so if he does go to somewhere, he does go to a certain planet, then that planet's going to have a bad time, and rightly so. I do think that if Gazskul does go to Armageddon, I personally think Gazskul should win it, because for those of you who don't know, Armageddon is actually Ullanor. It's not actually Armageddon. It just got renamed Armageddon, so it's basically like the Orc homeworld. So they're kind of driven back to that planet because it's like the place for them, let's say. Sorry, let's get back on topic of World Eaters. I completely veered off going on about Gazskul. So if the World Eaters did get new models, first thing, new Berserkers. New Berserkers are muchly needed. I absolutely love the design of the Khorne stuff when it comes to AOS. I know you can technically, you can kit bash it if you are good at that, but if they went with that kind of design and of course made it more sci-fi, more Space Marine, then they would completely sell out for me. I would definitely have to throw my towel in and join the forces of Khorne and do something Khorne. When it comes to Khan himself, I know a lot of people saying, oh yeah, a new Khan model. Khan recently just had a model, so I personally don't see him getting a new model. I think his model's like, what, 2 to 3 years old now? For GW, that is basically like a brand new model. Maybe they could give him a new model to scale him up in some kind of way, but I think his scale is kind of fine at the moment. So personally, I don't see him getting a new model. I think if anything, it's just Berserkers that are going to be getting some love. Maybe some like Chaos Space Marines who have, more corny bits on them and stuff like that, just to make them stand out on the battlefield. Basically like an upgrade kit that we got for the Imperial Fists, but this time it's like a Khorne upgrade kit for your like basic Marines. Something along the lines of that. So as I stated, the Khorne Demons have got some love so far. Hopefully the next stage is Berserkers, and hopefully lastly is Angron, because how awesome would an Angron model be? A demonic Angron model. He'll basically make Scarbrand just shit himself because he'll be that awesome. I can't wait. I can just visualize it in my head now. All the art that we have from Neil Roberts and stuff during the Horus Heresy and what we've seen of Angron, it would just be absolutely amazing. Plus, it's Angron. Who does not like Angron? I'm the most loyal person there is in the world. And I always think that Angron really did get the short end of the stick with the Emperor not like saving all his brothers and sisters and all that kind of stuff when, the last battle he was leading. So Angron actually is the only Primarch technically to have a grudge against the Emperor. All the others are just little moaners, but Angron actually has legitimate beef with the Emperor of Mankind. All right, Chaperonios, I'm going to call it there. I don't want to hog your ears too much. Tell me what you think. How would you like the World Eater release to be? What models would you like for the World Eaters to be? Would you even want Angron? Would you want Berserkers? Would you want upgrade kits? Just tell me. Let's have a nice little discussion about it in the comment section, and we can let all our heretical side out there. So don't worry, brothers. I still stand firm with the Emperor of Mankind. I am still in his light for now. Right, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. See you all in a bit. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. See you now, and bye-bye.